Okay, well, it's John Robb here, and looking at some very interesting Oasis memorabilia. So, what is this all about? And actually, who are you? Why are you doing it? And what is this all about?
Okay, my name's Kyle. I work for a company, or I run a company called Bittersweet Home. We set up a couple of years back, and effectively are the UK's biggest memorabilia company. Yeah, so we do signing sessions of artists, massive supporters of various charities across the UK. And for the last couple of years, it's not just Oasis, this is just about Oasis, but it's not just Oasis we deal with, all sorts of bands. We've been looking at doing an exhibition, and this year just felt right. So now we're going to jump in, feet first, and do an exhibition this year of the most comprehensive Oasis collections you'll ever see. It's not just myself, various collectors from around the world. Salford Lads Club, 13th to the 16th of June. Coincidentally, when a certain frontman plays Manchester as well. So it's going to be massive, it's going to be big. Tickets are on sale right now, so I'm just doing a few of these videos to kind of give a bit of a teaser of what we're looking to put on show.
I mean, obviously we'll come back to the content of Oasis in a minute, but what's the charity aspect?
So we've done a few bits in the past with teenage. I've been personally affected by cancer in the past, so a lot of massive support with Teenage Cancer Trust. But for this one in particular, we're looking at working with Salford Lads Club. So I think the last couple of years for everybody have been a bit of a struggle. So as naturally when things are a bit of a struggle, donations and things like that drop down. So a lot of charities right now are really struggling. So yeah, I'm doing everything I can to kind of help people that are, I'm from Manchester, I don't live here anymore, but I'm from Manchester. Salford Lads Club is an iconic Manchester building, so it's good to kind of help them out, whilst also providing something, an experience for fans at the same time.
It's amazing with Oasis, I mean, how much this market just really exists. And not only does it exist, it's going through the roof, isn't it? After all these years, they're more collectible than ever, aren't they?
I think Noel was really clever with what he did. It wasn't just a case of release a single and fill your boots and move on to the next one. Everything had its own promo vinyl, everything had its own weird, we'll see some of the items here now that are ridiculous really. But yeah, I think because of the time that we're living right now, when you go to a gig, you used to get that little hard ticket through the post. And years and years ago, I got a ticket table at home, a coffee table full of tickets. I would look at that 4 or 5 years ago and go, what are you playing at? What are you collecting tickets for? But once you actually hold one, you think, actually, it brings back that nostalgic feeling of when you used to get that. I used to go skateboarding around Manchester and go down to Virgin and buy a ticket for a gig. Or you go to Manchester Union and get yourself a ticket. It doesn't happen anymore. So you can see why these things are coming back and people are looking to try and collect them. And what I keep referring to is harking back, for simpler times and more fun times when everyone was a bit more young and everything was a bit more fun.
I mean, you have tickets here. There's 4 tickets in the pass here, like a lanyardy stage pass thing. So, what are the tickets, and what are these tickets actually worth?
Well, what I've done is, I've tried, as we're back in Manchester, I've tried to focus. I've done a few of these videos the last couple of weeks, and I've done big items. I've tried to focus on Manchester for this one here, just to give a bit of a taster. So obviously these ones here, I mean, this is probably the cheapest one of the lot. So this is for the Hacienda. So it's a very rare ticket to get. Really, really rare to find a ticket for Oasis at the Hacienda. September '94, but you'd be looking at 250 quid to buy that now, and that's the cheapest one.
Do you always think it's amazing? How much the ticket originally cost?
Ticket
like
on this one
or something?
is 7 quid, which I think is the most expensive one there actually. Oh no, G-Mex would be a bit more, yeah, G-Mex.
That's G-Mex there.
But yeah,
so what's this one here?
So that's when they played, they supported the Milltown Brothers and Real People. So they were the second support. I think 2 of them there are Real People, where they are the second support, which I just think's mental. They've not even got a logo at this stage.
Yeah.
Not even got a logo. Yeah. That's how early doors it is. And the access all areas past there is when they supported BMX Bandits. I think all 3 of them might be October '93, which is just real early doors. You'll pay. I mean, you will not find one of them passes again. That BMX one.
I think it's amazing to even have a pass for a gig of that size.
That's it.
BMX Bandits, great bands, but I think there'd probably be about 70 people to gig that night. And anybody go backstage who hadn't got a pass, they would know them anyway, wouldn't they? So it's not like you'd even need a pass. But that's that kind of weird attention to detail you talk about with Noel, isn't it? Because he kind of knew how a big band's meant to look, even if no one knows who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a funny story with Bittersweet Home, which is comfortably the worst name for a company ever, by the way. It was going to be originally a bar, a music memorabilia hard rock cafe style bar in Manchester or Glasgow. Hard Rock Cafe, but a bit better, and it was going to be called Bittersweet. Eventually that project fell down, but whilst I was doing that project, the architect that I was working with, his missus was involved in BMX Bandits. So it's such a small world that I think between Manchester and Glasgow, the tickets for example, the King Tut's tickets from the night that they met McGee, you will pay £1,000 for that ticket, £1,000. And I think I've only ever seen 3 or 4 on the market. It's mental what you pay.
I never
for things.
thought there'd still be tickets from that gig. That's quite
And
fascinating.
and the good thing about that is you can see on YouTube, you can see the video that a Japanese tourist took at that gig, and there's no one there, no one. So it's absolutely. I know Derek actually, he was the drummer in 18 Wheeler. Or was it Boyfriend? Oh, he's going to kill me now for forgetting his fucking band.
Well, you can edit that bit.
But he's no, it's crazy. Some of these people, they're the ones usually that have kept things like that in their memory books and their scrapbooks, and maybe they've had family come along. They're the ones that will keep the tickets like that. But yeah, I mean, it's luck of the draw to try and find things. It's really luck of the draw to try and find these things these days.
Well, that gives them the value. You know, if there's 200 tickets originally, and you got 10 got taken home, and 30 years later there's only 3 left.
Yeah.
There's your value.
It's absolutely. And I think we had a recent find. There was a storage lockup full of. It was like Aladdin's cave for Oasis fans. It was unbelievable. We're only talking 3 or 4 months ago now. This appeared, and a contact of mine bought the whole lot down south. So I got kind of first look around. Now for me, amps that we used at Nebworth, guitars, old suitcases from the tour days, passes, lyrics, everything was in there. It was unbelievable. So things like lyrics, they're one of the most contentious subjects. I mean, this here is a set of lyrics written by Noel for Magic Pie. So I own 2 sets of lyrics myself personally. One of these is this. They're the most forged item on the internet. I mean, signatures from Oasis and handwritten lyrics are the most forged item.
So how would you know they were genuine? You
So-
do a handwriting test.
Yeah, well, it's really hard to do. I mean, you can do that, of course you can. But I think they're that good, some of them, that they've been passed. We know ones that are absolutely proven fakes that have been passed by handwriting experts. So it's a real minefield. I personally wouldn't buy any lyrics unless it was from a direct contact. Unless it's these ones, yeah. but I mean, I got
I'm
these straight
quite
from...
amazed by it.
It is.
I'm deep inside his handwriting.
I know, well that was done for a label employee. And
so to put the lyrics on the sleeves?
yes, and then put away and I got them directly off her last year. And obviously with that, it comes with a nice letter of authority, you know, what the certificate of authenticity and a letter. That really helps. But signature-wise, they are the most faked. I'd say 80%, maybe even 90% of what's on eBay right now, signed by Oasis, is fake. Genuinely.
But these are genuine.
Yeah, well, this one here is a 1994 Virgin Megastore. Obviously when they launched the album. So this is you'll pay probably £1.5 to £2,000 for these things now. How many were done on the day? Don't know. You know, how many were done perfectly on the front? A lot of people for some reason got them signed on the inside. Some got a CD. All these things affect your value. All these things affect how rare they are. But it's a market that's bigger than ever. A lot of Oasis fans from the 90s are now in their late 30s, 40s, early 50s.
Got proper jobs.
And they've got disposable income, proper jobs. And I, like I said before with the ticket comment, a few years back I'd looked at people got tickets and what you're playing at. You know, you need your head checked. But we all have our vices. I've got friends that spend fortunes on whiskey, cigars, cars, Rolex watches. Brian Cannon is a madhead for Rolex watches. He loves it. That's what he spends his money on. But for me, it's this sort of stuff.
No, it's buying memories. It's totally valid.
That's it. It's harking back. It's and for me, the big step. Well, everyone says, when did you start doing this? I presume you've done this since you were a kid. I've not personally. I live near Edinburgh now. When I was dragged up there, kicking and screaming 15 years ago, by my now wife, and it was actually me struggling to settle in Scotland that made me go, oh, do you know what I do? I want to go and buy all my old Oasis vinyl back. And I went and bought every single. I thought, once I got the single, the early singles, I'll get the album. I'll get every album. And then I thought, well, I want every album sealed, because that's, you know, a vinyl thing to do. And it went from there to, you know, a Cuba Records to 2 Cuba Records.
Like Alcoholics Anonymous.
It's pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much.
How I turn into this.
But it's a good hobby, and I think I built a bit of a good reputation in the industry doing these things, and then I think over the years it got to the stage where I think I counted one day and I had 35 messages of people saying, is this person okay to deal with? Is that real? I thought, you know what, I'll just make a website for it and go from there. And that's where Bittersweet Home came from, really. It's just gone from strength to strength. I did have a career. I quit that career to do this full time. Yeah, it was.
It's not just like the ticket stuff. You actually have some proper good stuff here as well, like this and the ashtray as well. These are, I imagine these are super collectible, aren't they?
Well, the ashtrays, this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I mean, it just looks. I mean, it could just look like an ashtray on a pub table right now, but obviously it's actually the ashtray. And we'll do a bit of a zoom in shot for the video. It's the ashtray off the cover. And when I showed Bonehead that a while back, he was like flabbergasted. It's like, how on earth?
Did you put it back?
I mean, he even wrote on it there. He wrote, "Look, it's close, but not the exact one. Love Bonehead." So it's, but to see that, and people say, "How did you find it?" I don't know. In an antique shop, I thought I recognise that, and it's such a rarity, you know, to see these little weird. And that's what the exhibition is going to be full of. It's going to be full of whatever your vice is, whatever you enjoy, whether it be signed printers proofs. Guitars. The exhibition is sponsored by Prop Store, who are kindly donating about 10 of Noel Gallagher's guitars. We're not talking just unseen ones here, we're talking very well-known ones.
So this one here, what's the story?
So this one is actually just one of my own guitars. So this is keeping with the Manchester theme. We've got a lot of Manchester tickets we've gone through there. We've got a Man City Blue Supernova. So this was signed by the whole band in fact, hang on, 05 in Glasgow. It's got the pass on the back still there. So this is one of my own items. You're probably looking at about £5 for something like that these days. For it's not used, it's not owned, it's just a signed guitar.
I imagine the guitar on its own is worth quite a lot.
I think you're looking at about £1 on the guitar its own. Yeah, it's a really nice guitar. Yeah, it's a beautiful one. I mean, I've tweaked it a little bit when we last saw Zach Starkey, because this was Zach's kind of era. I added Zach to it, and then Bonus jumped on the scratch plate there. But yeah, I mean, things like this are a personal item. The guitars that will be shown at the event will blow people's minds. We're sat right now outside the GMX. There's a ticket there for the GMX, a backstage MTV ticket for the GMX. The guitar used at these gigs, the Be Here Now Sparkly Florentine guitar, that's going to be on show. Amps and all sorts, but
not for sale on show.
Well, actually, as we say that, the intention is that some of these things will be for sale. Disc awards, guitars, signed merch. It's going to be something that's not. It will not have been seen before, and it won't happen again. Mm-hmm. There are certain things. There are certain people involved, and certain experiences that are happening. That it's not a normal exhibition. It's not normal. I think it's.
While we're talking all the way through this stuff, we should talk about the record player.
Yes, so the record player there. There's certain items that I see, and I think, would I want that? No. But then when you get offered it, you're like, I can't say no. I mean, that is a Japanese promo item for Be Here Now. 10 made, 10. That's it.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's on you, and it works. It's a full work thing. Yeah. I mean, I've got the box and all the instructions. It's full work.
Does it work? Can you actually put
you can.
Just about put a record on there.
Yeah. It's an unusual, but that's the Japanese. I mean, Japanese items, you know yourself, they always come up a nice old strip, and they're always pristine. I'd tell you, whenever you buy something off a Japanese collector, they don't half look after their stuff. They really, really do. So anything that comes out in Japan, whether it be a Japanese promo, even new albums now, you know, the Nebworth '96 one, or Liam's albums, or Noel's last album, Noel's best album for a long, long time. I absolutely love Council Skies. When you get the Japanese version, they're always more valuable than the UK, because they always come with an extra couple of tracks, and they're always really good quality. So yeah, anything from Japan is always a big bonus. That's the point. I said, have you heard that band Sahaji? Heard them. So they're coming to the exhibition. They'll be doing a little bit of an acoustic close down set. They're fantastic. A little bit off piece there. But anything Japanese is a belting thing to focus on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're fanatical about pop culture, especially British pop culture as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In a way that when you talk about before, the way that Noel understood, you know, the detail, it's almost like the way the Japanese do. It's what it is about the detail. It's not just a record sleeve. What's on the spine? What's in the background over here? What's on that? What's on the fireplace here? That's all so part of the way.
Everything. I mean, every cover, especially the microdot era ones, every cover, and what Simon did and what Andrew McPherson did, what everyone did afterwards, is all fantastic work. But there's something about the first four.
It's a perfect combination, I think.
Of everyone, of Owen, of Brian, of Michael, of everyone. It was just a perfect combination of absolutely everyone. And I think every cover is iconic. All the singles, all the albums, everything's perfect.
The music and the artwork just blend perfectly, don't they?
I was listening to a video on the way down, because I live just outside of Edinburgh now. It's a 4-hour drive this morning, which was fantastic in the sun. I was listening to a video dissecting the covers, and the fact that people are still talking about it 30 years later in that level of detail. I mean, it's been talked about umpteen times, but people are still regurgitating and discussing, and that's why it's so popular. That's why this sort of stuff has to happen.
Well, there's a pop art thing about Oasis, often overlooked actually, isn't it? They're far more arty than they were letting on, weren't they?
Yeah. And you can see that interlink with what Microdot did with the Verve stuff as well, the early Verve stuff. That's what Storm in Heaven is one of the most amazing covers I've ever seen.
That's where Oasis came. That's where Noel saw that and he wanted to have that version. But I like the way it changes a bit with Oasis. It's still the same style, but it's a different version of that style, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the Easter eggs, the level of detail for everything is perfect. Yeah.
So this set list, Oasis fun.
The set list. So this, I'm not sure what gig it is because it's been ripped off, but it fits in the area of sitting there with the it's a Be Here Now tour one. Set lists are something that's, again, you can buy them on eBay and be very, very buyer aware because how easy is it to scan and print something. But it's the level of detail with the feel of the paper, the print, the type of print. Yeah, I mean, set lists are 50 quid to 75 quid per page, but then when you get to the big gigs, at the exhibition you'll see Nebworth stage used ones, you'll see Loch Lomond, all the big gigs from the early days. That's where the big time is. What I want more of is main road stuff. Being a City fan, it's been a fantastic weekend for as a City fan. You know, it's been good. Anything to do with main road, I quite like to collect. So I think we'll also be going further than Oasis. So there'll be BDI, High Flying Birds, solo stuff for both the boys.
In the exhibition. It's almost like the whole family.
No, it's the whole thing. I think that's it. I think everybody stops at master plan when they're talking stories or doing books or whatever it may be. It always seems to stop at master plan. And there is a book by a chap called Richard Bowes, and that's the first book that did the whole, till 2009 in terms of telling the story. So I wanted to kind of do the same here with him. I know Richard is a great guy, and we've discussed this. I think going here and then going further again, it's not going to be a huge level of detail on BDI and the Birds and Liam Soul stuff and the new Squire album, but I think there'll be a couple of sections at the end just to tee it off before people leave. So that's Liam's kind of comeback gig at Manchester there. That's his O2 Ritz comeback gig. These little prints there. So yeah, it's going to be good.
And this one here.
This is the printer's proof for Stop the Clocks. So this is the best of in 06 that came out. And you tend to find that whenever they do a printer's proof, they will sign a few. So on this one, there would have been Gambly and Andy and Noel, and they'll sign maybe 5. And there'll be like competition wins or something, they'll be giving away that. But over the years, as it's Stop the Clocks and it's the best of, whenever I've met some of the extra boys, I've chucked them on there as well to make it a bit more of a one-off item. But no, it's the printer proofs are you'd be looking at £1 a piece for them as well, comfortably.
So again, run through to the dates. It's in June. It's
the 3rd. So we've got a launch party on the 13th, which is an evening thing, 6 to 10. You can get a ticket for that on the website. There's probably about 20 left right now. And then we're open to the public for £20 per ticket on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the 13th to the 16th, and the tickets are on sale at bittersweethome.co.uk.
Okay.
Good stuff. Okay, mate. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Cheers.